at IEM.
I think so. I mean, it was a 3-2 finish.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one heck of a series. I don't think you should feel
Yeah.
necessarily ashamed about that, but
IEM would have been very blah, though, if it was all Zerg in the semifinals. Hero Marine almost beating Raynor was the whole hype of that tournament. Then after he lost, I was like, all right, it's either Cyril or Raynor.
and it was amazing.
Okay, so I'm sure he's gonna do very well this tournament, though. It's Solar.
And in top left, it's KeeN. Yeah, I mean, of all the people here, Solar made it the furthest in IEM Katowice, which is an incredible accomplishment. So,
yeah, Beyond fell in the group stage.
So I mean, we will see who comes out on top here. But
I don't think participated in the tournament.
I don't remember seeing him there.
No, I'm checking the round of 36.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't qualify, or no. KeeN declined his invite, so he could have gone.
Yeah.
He elected not to. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what that was all about. Because it's like
I should ask him.
Declining to participate in other tournaments is okay. That's fine. You can probably afford to skip one or two, but this is the big one. You know what I mean? Katowice is the big kahuna. So just kind of being like,
yeah,
I'm out on that is strange.
Maybe he wasn't vaccinated. Maybe he didn't have his passport up to date. One of those things like similar to Classic. Or I did see the argument posted that for participating, you do only get $350. Say you just get swept out of the tournament, comparatively to other years, which I think it was like $600 to $650 just for participating. It was literally at the point which I was like, I could go get destroyed, and that's a portion of my travel covered.
Right.
And that thought definitely crossed my mind before they changed the format. So maybe that's why he just didn't think it was worth it, or his form wasn't good enough, or I don't know. We'll have to ask him if we get a chance.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be good to find out.
And what do you think of the balance patch that's upcoming?
I don't have any complaints about it. I think everything in there is pretty straightforward. They seem like fair changes, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, I agree too.
I've seen some people complain that they would want to see some changes to the Ghost. Maybe something about damage output or the way EMP works. Like some Protoss have been complaining about that, but
I'm inclined to agree. Looking at the results, like it's not Zerg complaints we can listen to regarding the Ghost, because Terran's still been getting destroyed in the late game on the highest level anyway. I know it's the harder at like the mid-tier pro level and stuff, and we might even see that with KeeN here today. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if something like that would be needed, like an EMP radius change, perhaps.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on that.
Okay. Actually, talking about this game, we've got a bit of an interesting build here by KeeN. He elected to go for 2 Hellions, producing them not off his reactor, and then a high count Marine drop, actually. Which is, correct me if I'm wrong, fairly unusual for TvZ.
Yeah, this early, definitely weird. He's trying to catch Solar off guard here with it. Traditionally, it's a bit later. It includes 2 medevacs instead of just the 1. Unloads temporarily, and it's like, wait.
What are you doing, KeeN? It might not be good, but it definitely is different.
Solar ready for that, though. Look at this.
That's the thing. Like, you'd think maybe he'd be looking to try and grab an Overlord if he knew this one was here or something. The only thing I can really think of this build is that it's going to give him a very high Marine count.
Right.
and he may make some work happen there.
Yeah, Queen Count's looking good. I mean, Roach Warren coming in with a lair from Solar. I don't know if this is going to be like a 2.5 base Roach Ravager style thing, which we haven't seen very much recently, but Solar could totally pull it out here versus KeeN. That said, he's still droning up. I don't know. He's cruising up to 60 workers pretty easily. We'll see if he keeps going with that or not. But a couple roaches in production at least. Safety roaches, or we're going to keep rolling with those?
Safety roaches, I imagine. Solar sometimes does that weird thing, which will literally make just like a few roaches, then go right into another attack and start making lings or something. So we'll see.
He's got a bunch of them, though.
That he does. Double Evo on the way, so yeah, it could be the mass roach, but then we've got a 2-basing Terran. KeeN never threw up a third, who's going to be looking to deal damage to Solar. So we'll see how these two styles are going to clash, whether Solar will come out on top here because he is playing such a strong style in the sense that it's very useful to defend if you decide not to attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's just pumping roaches hard. Wheel reconstitutions. He's working on level 1 missile as these queens are just getting blistered right apart here.
Yeah, great jump there by KeeN. Picks off 4 high-energy queens. He's also elevated his 2 Hellions into the main base. They're not going to get much done. But getting the queens is a good start. Good tank shot, allowing him to trade with those roaches. Not sure he can do that out of tank fire. He's going to try, though, as the Marines with their +1 are actually going to cut down pretty much all the roaches of Solar.
Oh. Roach is not doing nearly as well as they would like to here. Siege Tank getting some hits off, unsieging before the surround happens. Let's pick it up. Oh, saved it.
Yeah.
Solar shows up more, and KeeN gets out of there. Good trades, though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, pretty good trades for KeeN. His third base was very delayed. Picks off Solar's Overseer, which was nice. The main thing about that fight, which I found impressive, was the fact that he was doing that without combat shield.
Dead impressive. That he got that much value out of it is very, very good indeed.
Okay, now we take a look at what KeeN's got. He's very close to Solar and Army Supply. Both players are heading towards 1-1 upgrades. Solar, however, hasn't taken that much damage, so he's getting his 4th up, Hive up, Hydra Den on the way. All that good stuff for the Zerg. He's going to be ballooning his drone count. He did lose his queens, which is a little painful for him. The one thing I'm thinking of right now is the fact that that since it is a Roach Ravager style for Solar, that KeeN's going to have to worry about a head-on attack more so than Ling run-bys for the most part.
Yeah. Which is nice. I mean, having to worry about Ling run-bys constantly is very annoying. Can be really powerful in the hands of a good Zerg player. So in this case, though, it's more of a slow-moving attack. You can kind of see it coming earlier. But, you know, Ravagers are a pretty good unit at this stage of the game, especially what that +1 is finishing up.
Kotule saying in chat, hello, score Byun versus Classic. Byun took it 3-1, so he'll face the winner of this series in the best-of-7 finals.
Pretty crazy.
A drop goes down by KeeN into the natural base of Solar. Gonna get some damage done here. Picking off a few Hydras, gets a few drones. Gonna try and get out, and he does, somewhat surprisingly. Okay. KeeN moving out with a very scary army.
Yeah, a lot of Marauders, a lot of tanks. Makes sense for this high Roach comp. Forcing Solar back. He doesn't want to engage there. Adaptive Talon's finishing up here. That's something that did get nerfed in the patch that's coming up. Rosabile making some connections there. Yeah, Adaptive Talon is not quite as fast on the burrow as they are now, which is crazy fast on the burrow. Viper is going to be really important here. Abducting tanks into this will really change the whole thing. But man, KeeN's setting up in a really advantageous position.
Oh my gosh, he's just going in, but the Blinding Cloud from Solar is very effective, and KeeN's army kind of falls apart there a little bit, losing a lot of his buffer. Lurker's going to abduct a tank, a second tank.
Wow, dude. Solar. Okay, that was boss. That went from a really tough position for him into one where he's pretty solidly in control real fast.
All of a sudden, the supply for KeeN is just down, down, down. He hasn't floated over his 4th base yet, so he doesn't have that going for him. A lot of his supply must have been in the top right here as he decided to go for a bit of a drop, and then has got 2 random tanks heading back home. I'm not sure whether that was intentional or a mistake. Either way, a little bit too much going on there for KeeN.
Man, Solar sharking up towards that right side. There is a sensor tower up that'll let KeeN know what's coming. Ghost obviously on the way here from the Terran player because, you know, late
Ghost.
game Terran pretty good with Ghost.
In goes the Lurkers for Solar. They're getting ahead of themselves a little bit, though. 3 are going to go down as punishment for that overstep.
4. Man, 4 Lurkers down for very little value. Blinding Cloud kind of keeping everybody away. Another tank gets abducted, insta-killed. Beautiful Viper play here. The Blinding Cloud and... Woo! Careful. And the abduct. There we go. Have been very, very good here. Suddenly standing in. Good snipes coming off from that right side. And whatever you're going to hit here is going to be pretty good. Roach, Hydra, or Lurker. Your snipe targets can be very important. +3 attack already on the way here from Solar at 12 minutes.
Yeah, a really good concave by KeeN, though, holding on there. That could have been a situation which just got out of control rather quickly, but he does a good job defending there with his tanks, with his ghosts, his abundance of medivacs. And taking a look at everything going on in this game, we see the worker counts actually very close. Solar's only on 76 drones, which is less than a Zerg generally wants, so he's firing up another 8 at least.
And a Nidus. Woo!
That's going to improve his position, but for now his position isn't as dominating as you may think.
No, not as much as it was like 3 or 4 minutes ago here. +3 attacks finishing up here from KeeN. He's making another command center. Really macroing well, and a big push coming down this left side. Going to maybe try to take out the 6 o'clock base, and then top side simultaneous attacks here. Solar getting yanked away, and KeeN taking advantage of that. Oh my, Lurker response though. 1 Lurker down, but can't quite deal with, you know, the 10 Lurkers here.
The classic Terran playbook, drop in multiple positions, and all of a sudden your opponent has a hard time dealing with it. KeeN didn't get too much damage done there, but he definitely made Solar pause for a minute. While this is going on, the Terran is building up his ghost count, getting more tanks on the way, even a few Vikings. I would love to see a 5th command center start for KeeN, and he's actually already got one on the way.
There we go. Preparing here as this game's going to go on a bit longer than the PVT series went. First best of 5 here today. ZVTs can, between 2 players, can go for, you know, 20, 25, 30 minutes. We'll see how this one works out. High ground being held here, but I mean, siege tank count looking healthy, ghost count looking healthy, enhanced shockwave getting started now too.
Yeah, this
and centrifugal hooks here. A little bit late on the upgrade, but going to be really good regardless. I mean, Baneling's super important, especially considering there aren't any Widow Mines in play here today from KeeN, which is a little bit odd. I guess when you're dealing with a larger Roach Ravager Hydra style thing, Widow Mines aren't as good. But now that Ling and Bane are being introduced, getting some
creep. The Banes roll forward.
No,
not going to get good connections though, as the Terran retreats adequately. Solar goes off creep, takes a bit of a beating as he does so. Players trade out once again. A couple of freebies there for KeeN as Solar has a misrally because he's busy going for a counterattack at the 3rd base of KeeN. Lurkers forced to cancel on a base, killing off some SCVs. The Ghost tries to snipe a Lurker, but there's far too much heat there.
Yeah, I mean, one Ghost isn't going to do it on his own. Nidus coming up left side, a retreat position, it would seem. These Lurkers are just being left to get sniped out. There you go. Marauders giving their lives so the Ghost can actually get some shots off. And this planetary is not a planetary yet, and it probably never will be here. Oh, it gets 2 shots off. Wait, oh, maybe 3 shots, something like that. Either way, it's down very fast. Changeling's getting tossed down as something of a buffer, I suppose. Another tank gets corrosive biled. Solar's got the Nidus Worm to pull back to and evacuate into if he needs to, but it looks like KeeN isn't going to pursue too far right now, but the counterattack is definitely on.
Yeah, Solar producing a lot of units, getting his supply back up. He's got a pretty decent economy going at this point, producing pretty expensive Hydras and Banes, but he's getting there as his army is still very formidable. KeeN on his side of the map, it's going to be a while till he gets up that 5th base, with Solar canceling that extra command center with him killing off that 5th. He's put that Terran in that spot, which they're going without an expansion for a little longer than KeeN really should be.
Agreed. This is, man, Solar expanding up the right side here too. +3 ground carapace is coming in now for the Zerg player. Really good again for everything he's got here. He's going. Banelings in the front. Lings happening here too. Blinding Cloud on all of those ghosts on the left side. Really removing them from the equation. And KeeN's got to back up a little bit, but he is continuing to reinforce this front line.
Yeah, the positioning from KeeN has been pretty impressive this entire game as he cancels that base. He's got to pull back, however. Ghosts are actually going to lay down snipes on the Zerg army, getting Ravagers and Hydras. On the left side, there's a Nidus going up. KeeN's army is still putting a lot of pressure on Solar this game.
Yeah, KeeN playing a lot better than I expected him to here. Solar, you know, again, attacking into an entrenched army position. I guess just wanted to get that siege tank. The rest of it he can handle, but tanks, that count gets too high. It gets really difficult to engage, so he's willing to sacrifice a bit there. Once again, 2 tanks on the high ground. Notice they're split up so that Corrosive Bile can't take down more than one of them at a time. More lurkers at the front. 9 lurkers at a time are in production, splitting against the Banelings, using tanks to separate those Banelings too. This is fantastic pressure out of KeeN, and drones have to fully evacuate from this top right base. It looks like it might die. Man, Solar wants to save it, but can he?
Yeah, he's even dropping down snipes. Solar goes for a counterattack as he's getting a bit desperate, but KeeN's got plenty of units there to deal with it. The Ghosts have been doing tons of work, and the reason for that is it's just been primarily Hydra Baneling with some lurkers sprinkled in against Ghosts and Siege tanks. That's why things have been going so well for KeeN here.
Yeah, the Siege tanks just do incredibly well against Lings and Banes as they try to cross the open ground there. Ghosts good against anything really the Zerg player can do outside of, I guess, pure Ling Bane. But again, that's what the tanks are for. Marauders are there to absorb shots, sniping down Overseers while you're at it. Solar is down in army supply, but he's got 87 workers and he's got a ton of income, and he's building that army back up. So, I mean, Solar, he's down a bit, but he has a lot of comeback potential here.
Yeah, he's not out just yet. If he's able to potentially get the jump on one of KeeN's bases, that would be a huge move for him. That's why we see KeeN setting up a turret, a sensor tower, bringing lots of tanks towards this base. He knows how important it is. Getting the extra command centers on the way. Solar's not out of it just yet, but so far things have been going pretty darn well for KeeN as he's continuing on by dropping still.
Yeah, pulling back, trying to be aggressive here, but KeeN is just so mobile with this stemmed army. They can move so quickly, especially off creep. Baneling's trying to make some connections there. Again, Changelings in amongst these units. A couple Marauders are left behind, but a couple extra tank shots are making it worth it for sure. Another Nidus Worm going to erupt here on the map, and right now, there's that sound everybody hates to hear, but KeeN's on top of that one and shuts it down fast.
Ghost's gonna get some snipes off on the Hydras once again as KeeN continues to be very efficient. His bio's been efficient, his tanks have been efficient, his ghosts have been efficient, and Solar just hasn't been efficient enough, and he hasn't had enough of an economy to back this sort of play up as he loses yet another base. KeeN charging towards the right side, gonna make it 2 bases going down for the Zerg, putting Solar on an uncomfortable 5 bases at the 20-minute mark in this game.
Keeps trying to throw down Nidus Worms. They're just not connecting. KeeN is focusing on both sides of the map pretty darn effectively. Viper's getting evaporated by these Ghost Snipes Marine attacks here too. Army value is a full 130 to 88 in favor of the Terran player right now. Solar is in desperation mode. He wants to put some pressure on KeeN, but it's so hard for him to find anywhere to get some value.
Yeah, he's trying. He cancels a couple command centers if he can deny at least the 6 space going up. That's a necessity. Yeah, I'm not sure what Solar can do at this point, or really what his plan has been this game. He's just been taking losses, it seems, for the past 10 minutes. He's got to make something happen. He's going to try and dive on in once again, Lings, Banelings, Lurkers, but KeeN hasn't really been out of position this entire game. He's at least got a bunker and a couple of tanks to slow this down, to get rid of some of the oomph in this push. And now he's got his Ghost, the rest of his bio coming in to clean up these Lurkers. Solar's having a bit of success.
Yeah, Lurker's forcing that Ghost group away for now. That's pretty good. 12 SCVs die. Another attack coming in just to the south a little bit here, too. And jumping in. And Solar is on the offensive and getting some work done exactly as he needed to do if he was going to win this game. So Ply Depot's going down. KeeN has enough command centers. That doesn't really matter. Denying the +3 vehicle weapons upgrade would be really good.
Yeah, the Ghosts are going to be able to clean up these Lurkers.
Banelings get a couple good connections in, but Ghosts don't take bonus damage from those Banelings, so they're still alive after that hit. But look at how much there is on the other side of the map here. KeeN's taken hits, has allowed Solar to get some time back here to maybe rebuild his bank a little bit, but you know, suddenly it's 36 army supply for Solar. I figured he'd be remaxing back there, but he's just had a hard time getting those extra 6, 7, 8 bases up today.
Yeah, that trade for Solar would have been okay if he had the economy to back it up, but he really didn't. KeeN didn't lose that many actual army units, and now he's pretty much tripling Solar's army supplies. He's frantically making a Lurker or two to try and hold on, but it's not enough.
GG KeeN takes game 1. He's like, you guys haven't seen me for a while. I got it, still got it rolling. I didn't participate in Katowice, it doesn't matter. I'm still an excellent Terran player. I can take a map at least here off of Solar. And man, yeah, just base denial. If you kill enough bases, you deny enough bases for a Zerg player, you're going to be in a pretty fantastic spot. I know it seems simplistic, but the number of games where a Terran player can kill 8, 9, 10 hatcheries, including ones that have been denied and canceled, the win rate just skyrockets for Terrans in those situations. So incredibly solid aggressive play there from KeeN, making it happen. And overall, he's looking much, much better than I expected here so far.
Yeah, he really is. And honestly, I gotta say, yeah, kudos to KeeN, because this series could have easily been a 3-0, I think, in my mind at least. I don't know about other people. And KeeN not being demoralized, as he didn't actually succeed in qualifying for the GSL yesterday. But he's like, I'm still a top-tier player.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you what I'm capable of. I know everyone's really hyped on Solar for making it to that quarterfinals of Katowice, but I can take him down. Don't you worry about me. And he was right. So we're going to be on Glittering Ashes for game number 2 here. And should be awesome. I mean, we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of the Roach Ravager stuff in TvZ, especially the longer the game goes on. And I know he did transition eventually to Lings and Banes, along with those Lurkers and Hydras, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit too late there.
Yeah, the fashion he did it as well was very darn impressive by KeeN going into the late game against Solar. He wasn't really ever caught out of position there by the Zerg either. Solar's maybe going to have to be a little bit more sharp with his counterattacks and such, because, yeah, like, he went for counterattacks, but there was always a tank or two there by Beyond, or by KeeN, pardon me. And yeah, Solar just not able to have too much success there, and that really is a testament to the level KeeN's playing at.
Yeah.
And here he is in the bottom left.
Yeah, go ahead. And in the top right, got ourselves Solar. Yeah, you can have a great plan against somebody as good as Solar is, but execution is everything. And man, KeeN really set up in some good spots, got some high ground against the Zerg player, kept pressuring, kept getting good trades over and over and over again. And then Solar just ran out of steam. So we'll see what Solar has in store for game number 2 here.
Yeah, that last map was a pretty good map for KeeN, it seemed. It was his map pick. So maybe that was his plan going forward. Now we're on Solar's map pick here, and we can see it's a much larger map, Glittering Ashes. KeeN's not going to be able to be as oppressive as easily as he was in that last game, because the Zerg has just got so much room to maneuver, so much room to expand. The Terran's got a lot more ground to cover to play such a style. And so while KeeN had success in the last game, it could be tough for him to do the same in this one.
Absolutely, 100%. So Solar not doing anything out of the ordinary at all. This is as standard as 16, 18, 17 as you'll find in your entire life. Gets the Queen started as soon as he needs to. Gonna get that gas for speed. Get a third hatch at around 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, this is just the build that Zergs have been using for years now. Third base actually closer to 215? 220? Ah, 224 third base. All right. Feeling a little bit heavier on the macro there. I like it. I'm going to say no.
Oh, Reaper being a pain. Almost gets a drone. Solar feeling the heat already in this match, but does the work needed to keep those boys alive.
Yeah, has to make a couple spores, which that amounts to a couple drones that you could be making here, so slows down your economy a bit. Ling's knocking down their unbuildable rocks, so there's not a misclick there later, which I think everybody probably has a bad story about misclicking on those plates. I know I have, that's for sure. So Queens are trying to keep that creep tumor protected. KD8 Shaw, are you kidding?
No. Oh, how much health did it have? 7. Okay, so a charge wouldn't have even finished it off.
No, but close. Close nevertheless. Reaper's up here getting himself healed up. Which, it's healed up out of combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how is shooting at a hatchery being out of combat?
The hatchery doesn't fight back.
So how can you tell you're getting fought back? Is it just...
It's when you're taking damage, right?
So, as long as you're not taking damage from Zerglings, you can heal up as you're moving?
Yes.
So, in combat means taking damage.
Yes.
Fair
Although
enough.
I think it includes friendly damage, too. If a Reaper's healing and you shoot it with your own Marine or something, I think it interrupts the healing. I want to say.
It's probably not smart enough to determine where the damage came from.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, for KeeN, this game, we've actually got ourselves a 2-1-1. Which is very, very nasty against Zerg players. I love the positioning of this gas he's got as well. As far as Solar's concerned, this could be a battle cruiser rush he's facing against or something like that.
Right.
And it's not a true 2-on-1 in the sense that KeeN has got, is just got on 2 bases, 2 racks. He's got a third behind this, so it's sort of the quicker transition into bio for the Terran.
Yeah, some pretty strong stuff here. We'll see what Solar has to hold so far. He's just making Lings, getting spores up against potential incoming Banshees, Medevacs, battle cruisers, that sort of thing. Continuing Queen production and getting 1-1 started for his Lings and his Banes. Third base for KeeN on the low ground there. Ling wants to get a scout off and does see the lack of base here. That's good information to get. Lack of something counts as information.
This is true. We see KeeN now moving out with this drop. That's going to leave him very undefended back at home, except for his 4 Hellions. We'll see where he positions them. And that is the thing I did want to note, that KeeN has only gone for 4 Hellions. Last game, he only went for 2. That seems to be a stylistic thing from him. The fact that he doesn't want to invest in those 6 Hellions necessarily that a lot of Terrans do. And he's got 2 more factories on the way and double armor. He's going into mech behind this.
Which, okay. I'm not going to tell him no.
I love this, honestly. And I think
the
Maru...
one game that Maru took off of Serral at Katowice, he beat him with mech and battlecruisers.
That's exactly it. All of a sudden, this is sanctioned by the Starcraft community, a Terran going mech. Since Maru did it, it's allowed. KeeN, you're permitted to do this. If Maru didn't do this, we'd be calling you a fool.
True.
But we'll see if it works out or not. Solar is a very capable Zerg at dealing with mech, I believe. But if he's not necessarily expecting it, which he's not going to scout it till just now, although even that Overseer hesitates. It hasn't seen anything that gives this away just yet, so he's got no idea.
It still feels a lot like Marine Tank.
Yeah, that's what makes it strong. There's the double armor. There's the scout. And then he goes, what?
Tech Lab, extra factories, immediately throws down a Roach Warren. He knows what's up.
A Roach Warren.
Here's the thing. Just of all the Terran players in the world, the one that's had by far the most success in premier tournaments against Zerg has been Maru. No one else has really consistently been able to pull this off. So, like, I understand, Maru did a thing at Katowice, Mech's viable, and it's like, look, maybe it's just Maru. He's very capable of this kind of thing, and who else is Maru in the world? Nobody, that's who.
Is that true that Maru's had the most success against Zerg, though?
I'd say so. With Mech.
With mech?
Not overall. Yeah, as a mechie. I mean, at a premier tournament level, yeah.
Yeah, in recent times, because I'm thinking about it, and Maru doesn't often beat guys like Serral, Rogue, or Raynor. Like, I feel like he's gonna lose most of the time.
Yeah, for sure. But again, he didn't beat Serral in Katowice. He took a map off him with mech. I'm just saying he has the ability to do mech in a way that no one else can. Remember, like 5 years ago, he was using mech against Protoss and it was working, and everybody was like, oh, mech, but no one else can do it?
I still hate it.
Right. Because it's Maru. He's a weirdo.
I mean, I have an opinion on that, in which is just that the Protoss were willfully unprepared for that. And they probably practiced a few games against mech and said, okay, that's how you beat this.
We got it. We have all the tools we would ever need for this. Yeah. Transformation servos getting researched.
I dig it. Make them Thors transfer quickly. Make them Hellions transfer quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Zoom into a mineral line and transform into Hellbats instantly. It's pretty cool.
What is the tank count here for KeeN? It's 8, which isn't a ton. As long as he positions them well, that's going to be good for him at the start, but he's going to have to be careful because Solar is looking to push on in. He's got his Thor coming forward. He's going to need to make this base a planetary. There we go. And he does have more tanks on the way, which is very important here. You can not have enough tanks when you're meching because the Zerg will pick them off. And we're seeing Solar dive on in with his Lings, and he's going to pick off some tanks.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 tanks down, maybe a 4th here. The responding army, again, mech is slow at responding to threats like this. Ravager's getting right in between kind of 2 sets of siege tanks here. They decide to back on out. That's solid firing range location they're in there. But 15 Banelings on the way, more Vipers coming in, 34 Lings in production, and a Spire from Solar 2. Whether that's for some Corruptors, maybe a bunch of Mutas would not be bad here if you can magic box those Thors.
Yeah, KeeN has a beautiful, beautiful spread on his tanks here. Like, this could not be more perfect, I feel. Solar's going to try and go on in. Hellion's getting in front, going to try and buffer here. Lots of Hellbats actually moving forward. This is very, very key to the defense here for KeeN. And as the tanks get more shots off, things are looking like he should be able to hold this off. A Thor in the mix, too. He's losing critical units, though, which are his tanks. He's back down to 7. And we'll see if Solar is able to keep this up. Picking off the tanks.
Supply depots dying here, too, totally sucks for KeeN. He's only got 163 available.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's oversupplied. Losing 3 or 4 supply depots is bad.
Yeah, and that's actually his wall. KeeN's moving out to take a 5th base right now. I really don't think he should be doing this. This is way too greedy for a mech player who's only got 10 tanks right now, I think.
Yeah, that tank count getting whittled down quite nicely. Double pumping him to replace. Adrenal Glands is almost done, which is going to be really good here.
Yeah, I think
for
Solar's
sure. Not waiting
in.
for it. Yeah, coming right on in. Tanks on the top side taking direct hits. Tank down, tank down. 3 of them go down pretty much simultaneously there. The last one remaining, then trying to use some Hellbats and a couple siege tanks to handle this, but Queens are at the front, throwing down transfuses. They're whipping down Medivacs quite nicely. And this might be one of the quickest ZVT tank matches we've seen, where Solar's just kind of dealing with this before KeeN can max out, before KeeN has a really big, scary army. That tank target firing was sick, though. Those Banelings were rolling for that inner line and didn't get anything done whatsoever. But, I mean, tanks, they're taking a lot of lings with them, but that count is dropping still.
Yeah, the snowball effect. This is what we're going to see start kicking on in. The Terran, KeeN's just hanging on at 7 tanks. He does have a couple of ghosts, though, which is actually very impressive, and he is getting these queens off creep. So he is holding on. He's got to be oh so careful here with losing those SCVs. He needs to get his tank count up. And then to make things worse for him, though, he's going to have to deal with Broodlords that are going to be on the way for Solar.
Yeah, Thors are really good against them, as well as Ghosts. So I'm not sure he wants to invest a ton in Broodlords, but maybe 4 or 5 kind of shelling individual bases here, really whittling down the count of, again, things like siege tanks, things like sensor towers and whatnot. But Solar not waiting, coming right up that ramp, tries to take down a siege tank, misses.
Getting
not able to get enough Throws the Bile hits. Yeah, agreed. Also to drop up north here.
Oh.
KeeN doing some kind of an attack.
Oh, a Hellion run by.
There we go. 9 drones go down, but I mean, Solar, I think, is okay about replacing those. Got 14 on the way.
Okay, yeah, this might be the time KeeN... This might be what KeeN needed, a bit of time here. The Ghosts are going to do wonders against helping deal with the Vipers. He might have to shuffle some of his tanks to the right side to defend this attack. He's looking for EMPs or snipes on that Viper, though. The Ghosts actually play such a big role at keeping those Vipers away to make this mech composition work. In goes Solar, though. Lots of tanks are bogged up. They're really grouped. Is there going to be Corrosive Biles on them? Yes, there is. So a lot of those are going down.
Yeah, Solar just trying to do the opposite of the last game, where he comes in, makes good trades, keeps that tank count low. But yeah, it is interesting to see the number of Ghosts in production here, to where, yeah, it's mech. We're meching, but also just 1 bio unit. That's all we're using today. It's the Ghosts. They're just that good. We don't actually need attacker armor upgrades for them for their snipe to be amazing.
Yeah, and watching this game, it's really making me realize how critical of a role these Ghosts play. Not necessarily the end game of getting up to the 10, the 20 Ghosts that Terrans sometimes get, but just even having a couple to keep those Vipers away, make the Zerg take rougher engagements into those siege tanks. That is what's critical here for KeeN. And as he moves out to take his 5th base much later than he originally intended to, which I think this isn't even bad for him necessarily. He's going to be able to drop mules and stuff on this base now, taking his time, getting established. He's maxed out, and he has those Ghosts.
Yeah, and that maxed out +3s on the way state is where Terrans want to be when they're meching here. Clearing out some of the creep, which is all the way across on this side of the map. Running in, Ling's Banes, trying to get that surround. Bunch of Hellbats just evaporate to the Baneling shots. Ravagers coming top side here. Ghost trying to deal with these guys. Corrosive Biles getting dumped on siege tanks because they are stationary targets, and they perfect target for such a thing. But then the Ghosts jump back in. Snipe, snipe, snipe. 3 Ravagers go down, and that is your pound of flesh.
Yeah, pound of flesh. Couldn't have put it more perfectly. Solar having to replace a lot of units. If we look at the resources lost, it's very far ahead for KeeN, only 15 minutes into the game. KeeN is going to have that difficulty of potentially dealing with the Broodlords coming up. That's why he's got Thors on the way. But I just can't overstate this game, how well the Ghosts have been doing for KeeN. That entire last fight, he was just zoning the Vipers out with those Ghosts.
It's just not a big, scary Zerg army. He keeps coming in. He takes out a couple tanks. He wipes out a couple Ghosts. Has to retreat. He doesn't have any kind of a bank. He has 800 minerals and 1,000 gas right now. That is not enough to remax on anything, but continuing to throw Lings into the meat grinder. 7 Guardians, Broodlords, now getting started up. My Brood War made it in. I
Brood War caster, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing both is rough sometimes.
I
Brood Lords.
Oh, I
there
bet.
they are.
Okay, we see KeeN moving out now. He's actually pushing forward, which is so helpful when dealing with Broodlords, because it means you've got room to retreat if you can't handle the Broodlords.
Right. That is tricky. If you're backed into a corner and the Broodlords are killing you, you just die. In production, nothing that kills Broodlords. We're making some Hellions.
Oh my gosh, what a game here by KeeN. He's maxed out. He's got the 2-2. He's on his way to 3-3. Once that +3 is done, that's going to be so helpful for the Thors. The Thor count being 7, by the way. With the tanks, with the Hellbats on the ground, it's actually going to make this insanely difficult to kill those Thors.
Yeah, man. Blinding Cloud doing an excellent job here. Thor down. Hellbat's trying to clear up these Broodlings as much as possible. Broodlord's taking some hits as well, but there are still, what, 6 or 7 of them here, but those Thor shots just take huge chunks out of the HP of these poor Broodlords, and they're doing what they can, but also losing over and over again here. A couple SCVs are getting murdered, 10 of them, but pushing the Broodlords back. Lings are getting into the natural base. Ooh, going after upgrades on the engineering bay would not be bad.
No, all of a sudden, KeeN is being forced back. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if he needed to... He kind of sieged and unsieged his tanks there, which made things a bit awkward. The Broodlords have done their work. The Terran's army has been sufficiently worn down. Now we see Solar just rallying Roaches and Lings. I'm not sure what his plan is going to be from here on, but KeeN just taps out like that. Oh my gosh. KeeN just died. He was maxed out. How'd that happen?
The Broodlords did enough damage. 8 of them died, so it's not like they just kicked butt and went home. They were dying to make that happen, but at the end of the time, yeah, too many Thors died. That Ling attack into the third base was huge.
Yes, that definitely was. That was the icing on the cake there.
And Mech. 17-minute Mech game. Maxed out Mech army gets handled with... I mean, Viper's incredibly important there. The Blinding Cloud was huge. But then the Broodlord's really, really big. Forcing the Thors to focus on the Broodlords so that Ravagers and Lings can do more damage to them is pretty good. And then also just the damage their Broodlings are doing when they have the upgrades that they do. So we're back on 2,000 atmospheres. We're tied up 1-1. This is turning into a pretty fantastic best of 5. I mean, that was not... I don't know, it's so hard to look dominant taking down Mech. I feel like for a Zerg player, you can beat him, but man, you bleed a lot of units making it happen.
Solar is pretty darn good at dealing with Mech, though.
He is. And especially this version of Mech. Like, for a long time, Mech was basically Thor's Hellions and tanks. And that version was pretty easy to deal with some abducts into, like, lurker groups, just kind of bringing tanks and Thors into them. But once you started adding those ghosts into the mix, suddenly it kind of changes the whole equation.
Okay, now hear me out. Should KeeN have just pushed forward against Solar's army there? In that fight, when Solar was pushing with the Broodlords, like, at times it almost feels it's better not to do the siege, unsiege dance with the tanks, because you're just going to have to unsiege them anyway because of the Broodlords.
Yeah.
I think it's almost better just to accept the fact that the Zerg's going to surge forward and that your mech tanks, your Hellbat should be able to buffer while the Thors kill the Broodlords. So I'd honestly like to see that fight done again that way, if that was to be resumed from replay.
Okay.
But anyway, in the bottom left, it's KeeN.
And in the top right, he's our guy. You saw him at Katowice. It is Solar. Even always a bridesmaid, never a bride kind of thing for Solar, right?
It really is. He won, like, SSL, though, once, so...
Yes, that's true.
We don't have to feel bad for him.
Once a bride.
Which is generally what you aim for, just being a bride once, but...
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Parting has a world championship back when StarCraft 2 was a baby. And, I mean, Samacron, my podcast host partner, he doesn't really value it at all.
Partings?
Yeah,
well,
Parting's
that was 2012, and that was back in the old system in which sort of everyone got filtered out in the first event. Parting won anyway.
Right.
Only like 2 Koreans there or something?
So that's the thing. You look at it and say there's only like 2 Koreans at this thing. What is going on? But that's because there was a huge Korean tournament that was held, and Parting still had to beat everybody there. So it was a weird setup, but he still was the best Korean player at the time. I don't know. It's interesting. So while it was before balance was really as strong as it is now, it's comparing eras in anything competitive is difficult. Nicely done, though. Hey, that was hot. Blocks the drone from being able to turn into an extractor.
Yeah, that was really darn good. And now he's trying to block it with his SCV. The Reaper comes
oh
on
my
in.
Gosh.
This is going to be a micro war right now. Those Lings have to run away from the Reaper, actually.
Man, I talk about this all the time. Use the Reaper to deny the third base of the Zerg, and they never do. And then KeeN's like, I got you, Falcon. Oh my gosh.
He does. He got you.
And dead drones.
He gets the drone. Oh, the Reaper dies, though.
But no, denying that third base twice and killing 2 drones is massively more important than killing like a single Zergling.
Yeah,
that was amazing. This is what I want. It would change the meta. It just, if every Terran player focused on trying to kill the third base and deny the third base of the Zerg, it would delay the third base timings for Zerg. I think it'd be really good.
Yeah, that was something, that's for sure. Stim is on the way for Solar. Or for KeeN, pardon me. Overlord Speed is on the way for Solar. After going against the somewhat surprised mech in the last game, he's saying, I don't want surprises.
True fact.
And this game's actually opening up very similar to the last one, so for all we know, KeeN's planning to do the same thing again.
He had some good success with it. It's really hard to win a game where you're on the defensive 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm. I still want to see that last fight again. I almost want to resume that from replay.
Convince him to hop back in.
Okay. Double Evo on the way here for Solar. KeeN's going hard on the economy with that third base, so Z-bays are delayed a little bit.
I wonder if he's going to get a faster fourth to make up for the later third that he wanted to get. Gotta be frustrating, for sure.
It wouldn't surprise me. He is going to have to contend with that Terran bio drop, though.
Yeah, Overlord positioning pretty good here. Having that speed helps immensely with that, for sure. I think he's going to be able to see it coming. Decide to expand.
Hellions diving on in. Oh, they back out, though.
Yeah, I mean, that would be... They would die if they went in there. They knew that. They're going to stay alive for later pushes. Later harassment, thank you very much.
Delayed gratification.
I mean, there are definitely some Terrans who will just jump in there and lose those Hellions. Take whatever drones they can and just call it a day.
Well, it's a laziness thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with these later.
But also, I don't know, but also you probably get more drones just by YOLOing in than you do by kind of hanging around the outside and picking off creep tumors, and it's just a different thing. So KeeN heading into the main base with his drop, pull up along that right side.
Yeah, so all of a sudden there's Stim Marines in Solar's base, but that is a lot of things for the Zerg, so he's going to shut this down. Queen works on the Medivac while this is going on. I do love the positioning on the Hellions by KeeN. You almost may as well build a supply depot, just lock those boys in there.
Lings cannot get through. Unloading off creep. Safe to do that. Your Marines feel much safer than unloading onto creep, healing up. And 1-1 on the way. 1-1 finishing up for Solar, which is really important against these stimmed Marines.
Yeah, there's no mech on the way for the Terran this game.
Nah, that 1-1 coming in from the engineering base is enough to tell us what's going on. Liberator play. Good, good. Always good. Left side attack here from Solar, too. Jumping on that sounded like a watchtower, killing a couple Marines, forcing a pickup and a liftoff again. Solar's like, just get off my front porch. Stop being around. Stay home. KeeN says, if I do that, you'll be maxed out in 30 seconds. And he's not wrong.
He's not.
Infestation Pit coming in. Centrifugal Hooks finishing up. Rocks getting knocked down so tanks can't hide behind them in future attacks, but not that there are any tanks on the field, actually. Though another factory is on the way. Widow Mines would be good. I just don't know, we haven't seen enough Widow Mine here today from the KeeNer, and I feel like the win rate in TvZ, if you make Widow Mines as part of your comp, is just higher.
Yeah.
Hard to not get good value out of Widow Mines.
Weren't Widow Mines getting nerfed in that new patch?
Yeah, their burrow speed is slowed down a little bit too once they have the upgrade.
Okay, that's very reasonable.
Yeah, by the same. So Lurkers and Widow Mines burrow at the same speed after their upgrade finishes?
I think the Lurker one is very necessary, and the Widow Mine one.
Yeah. So it's not huge. It takes it from, like... It delays it by maybe a second, or like a 3/4 of a second. But at the professional level, that's going to be huge.
I believe the Lurker one was like a 30% increase or something. So
dang.
I didn't get the numbers on the Widow Mine one, but oh boy, main lings.
Yep, drilling claws coming in. Okay, all right. You can get some Widow Mines here. That second factory was for that. Again, it's just the number of times a Widow Mine will fire and hit 10 Banelings is just super high, and that is so much value.
Yeah, and as Starcraft matches trend to being longer and longer and longer, Widow Mine and cost-efficient units are just better and better. Mines are pretty much always cost-efficient.
I mean, the only way they're not cost-efficient against Zerg is if it kills like one Zergling. At that point, not cost-efficient, but 2, cost-efficient. Poor Marine. Wanted to get picked up, but the Queen said no. Denied that air support. Pushing in a little bit to the south of here, too. Clearing out some creep tumors. Lings jumping on these boys. Adrenal glands coming in. Which makes these Lings so much better. Alright, man. So it's going to be Ling, Lurker, Bane, Viper. Pretty standard stuff here out of Solar. And KeeN doing the pretty standard Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Liberator, and Widow Mine plays. Actually making a Siege Tank. And getting a Ghost Academy because you need those two. So, again, compositions, it just feels like they're as complex as they've ever been in StarCraft.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the sheer number of different units you need to be effective at this level is highest it's ever been.
And, yeah, the level of adjustment that players do based for what they make is nuts.
Draw them into the Widow Mine.
Widow Mines. 3 mines.
And even if the Widow Mines die, it doesn't matter as much. KeeN at the 12 o'clock, taking out 5 drones. 7 drones, and then losing their lives in the process. That's probably fair trade. Plus 3 infantry attack is on the way, too.
Yeah, there was only 10 workers between them for a second there, which is a big deal. KeeN at the healthy 80 workers, I love. Hopefully we'll see him get up a 5th base soon if he wants some longevity in this game. Another command center on the way would be a big deal in case he loses one as well. He's got the money right now, so I really would love to see that. There we go. One takes off, another gets built. KeeN is under a bit of pressure on this right side. He snipes down some lurkers, though. Very well done.
Another lurker down. He's just attacking into this lurker ball.
The transfuse by Solar was tremendous, though.
Yeah, definitely saved that guy's life, but all his friends are dead. Actually, not all of them. Some of them are there hiding.
A train of Zerg moving across to deal with this
Nidus
drop.
Network. Yeah, once you have Adrenal, you can just kind of chew through Marines in that position much better than you normally could. Look at this. I think before Adrenal's finished, that doesn't even be attempted by Solar. That attack speed increase just makes Lings so much stronger than they normally are. So Solar maxed out, 2,000 minerals, 800 gas in the bank. Able to hang on to his bases, hasn't lost any of those yet, which we talked about in Game 1 as being super important to be able to do.
KeeN's working on getting up this right side. Once again, he is in position to deal with the counterattacks. That's been one of his big strengths. Not letting the Zerg run away with counterattacks in this series.
Nidus Swarm erupts. Oh, right in the Bane base. Hot dang. And
Ew, they have tongues.
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Swarms are gross. A lot of Zerg is gross. Objectively. And that Nidus Swarm erupts nothing. That was just a, we're going to draw the army back left, I guess.
Solar's like,
strangely enough.
The Nidus actually got up, but all my units are on the other side of the map.
Solar's like, dang, I should have unloaded something there.
I should have. Oh, you gotta love it when that happens. +3 is on the way for KeeN. He never started his armor, however, which is a bit of a bummer for him. He's having a hard time getting up his 5th base so far. He's gonna counterattack and drop with ghosts and mines on the Zerg side of the map, which is a little bit odd, but he very well may get the hatchery.
Yeah, it does take the hatch down. That's one step forward. Trying to get this thing won here. Nice. Yeah, and I mean, the best Zerg players, the Serals, the Rainers, the Darks, the Rogues, will 100% split off individual Lings into Widow Mines they know are there. It just takes a ton of APM to do it, and a lot of other Zergs won't bother, and sometimes they can get away with it, but... Thank you for the 4-star balloons. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in and supporting the Freaker World in our 89th event. Oh, Woof. There is that command center. That's why you always have a spare. It's like a flat tire as a Terran. You always carry your spare.
Heck yes. Another command center in your back pocket in case the worst happens, which it's going to do. Another Nidus Swarm erupting right side, I guess. High-sec auto-tracking getting started, building armor, and also contains bunker increase in spots you can put guys in there. I forget exactly what that one's called.
So much.
Yeah, those forward planetaries, man. Just, it turns out having a ton of splash damage and a lot of HP is nice.
It's really true. We now see Solar pushing forward as he wants to get this base again, but I don't know if he's got the juice. As those ghosts are going to lay down snipes, pick off those lurkers, and yeah, the Zerg player takes a poor fight. KeeN will finally get up his 5th base, it looks like. We'll see if he's able to really secure that location. Get another planetary on the way. Oh, these planetaries are so good. Because the Zerg player just looks at the random planetary on a random location in the map and goes, I don't want to fight that. And so they try and go around it, but it really does impact the Zerg's movements.
100%. Zones them out real good in those positions.
Queen's getting
it's just they don't want to kill a planetary that has no economic advantage for the Terran.
That's exactly it.
Like, why am I doing this? It doesn't hurt them economically at all.
Yeah, it really is good, particularly if the Terran's maxed out with a bank, and that's where we're seeing KeeN trend. I'd love to see him even throw up another command center or two. He's going to have to deal with this attack, though, as that planetary did fall, but it did some work before it died, that's for sure.
And that's the plan. You absorb some Baneling hits, you kill a couple Hydralisks, you slow down the Zerg advance, and you feel good about it.
Yep, planetaries are huge. I'd love to see KeeN throw up another couple more command centers. He's rebuilding one, but if Solar goes in for another attack and gets a base, that would be a very good move for him. Lings are moving on in, but they're not going to take the most cost-efficient trades, and cost-efficient-wise, KeeN is almost half of what Solar's at for losses. More command centers on the way for KeeN. Solar's not going to let those finish up, though. You can't be that greedy with a Terran just building the command center against an aggressive Zerg. Those ghosts going to have to be pulled back. The copious amounts of lurkers for Solar have moved forward. This 3rd base is being shredded. There was not enough defense there for KeeN. So he was lacking there a little bit. He's going to go for a counterattack. Lots of bio out on the map, and I'm not sure Solar can muster back at home what he needs to deal with that.
Yeah, that hatch died, and I mean, that army's not dying themselves, so I guess they just keep pushing north here, chasing drones away. Lurkers, hard to remove with just ghosts. You kind of want some support there with marauders or whatnot. There's just nothing in the area. Siege tanks as well, but I guess they're not super threatening much at the moment, so we can hold off. Wandering into planetary range, and that was where KeeN wanted to go.
There we go. Oh my god, the snipes.
Oh, Overseers just exploding everywhere. And remember Solar's bank? It was big. It's at 500 minerals now, so this is not going well for him.
KeeN did lose his third, but he's kept his more critical fifth base alive. He's now going to be trying to get up another location, really push forward into the Zerg, which I just absolutely love. So he's changing his positioning a little bit. Yeah, this is just a great game by KeeN, showing the confidence to go into the late game.
Yeah, insanely impressive stuff here. Hey, thanks to the Tamanian for contributing to the Matcherino. Appreciate it. We haven't talked about that a lot here today, have we?
We haven't talked about it at all. Hit up that Matcherino, ladies and gentlemen. It's linked in the blurb above the chat. We'll link it after this series. You can press that contribute button, add to the prize pool for free for these players, or alternatively, if you want to pick up the event replays, or simply just contribute to the prize pool, which is distributed 100% amongst the players. That's an option. Visit the Matcherino URL.
Amen. Nidus Worm, Nidus Worm. These haven't been effective. Nidus Worm. Ooh, there's actually stuff in this one. Alright. Liberators set up. Lurkers say, we'll just go elsewhere, thank you. Kind of annoying, but I mean, KeeN's just kind of pushing unopposed on the right side here. Yeah, Siege Tank Liberator, not a bad answer, and Lurkers have to abort.
Yeah, those Liberators are really going to help out against those Lurkers. That's why we see KeeN adding them. And of course, he's still just microing as this game's gone on, dropping, picking off creep tumors, that sort of thing. KeeN eyeing up this location, but that means he'll easily take the bottom right if he can.
My gosh, Lurkers are back, causing problems.
Zerg's not going to be able to do this as easily once that patch goes through.
Just dancing, but he brought all the ghosts home, and they're all going to die. Wait, maybe one escapes? Oh, one escapes. All right.
Solar taking this as an opportunity to surge forward. There's not a lot of cost efficiency, though, in rolling these banelings against tanks and marauders. He will prevent KeeN from taking this base, though, as that was never landed and established. The Terran, though, however, did land a new orbital, or another orbital down there. Oh my gosh. The pressure by Solar has been no joke.
He's been doing this the last couple of games. He's making sure that KeeN doesn't feel comfortable moving out. Which I know it sounds basic, but the player who spends most of the time on their back foot usually loses these games. So Solar being the aggressor is really good for him economically. Ghosts are here to defend.
One base.
And poop and creep down here. So annoying and frustrating for Terrans.
That's just insane that the players have the APM and the ability to do that. It's like, oh
right.
Yeah, I gotta click on this one overlord in the bottom right side of the map while harassing. Okay, in goes the Zerg, gonna try and prevent the space being established, and it looks like he very well may be able to. It gets lifted off, though. Can it be saved? The Ghost moving forward, most of the banelings are gone. Can he get snipes off on those Hydras?
Sure, why not? Traditionally.
Oh, the Hydras want to finish the job. Getting that is such a huge deal.
Alright, finally, creep is receding in the bottom right-hand corner. Another Nidus Worm gonna erupt somewhere on the map, who knows. 36 Lings, more Hydras, more Banelings. 43 Banelings in production, ladies and gentlemen.
KeeN had a ton of tanks in his main base that were kind of caught up. As there was a tank sieged on the ramp, so he's going to get those on the front line. As he tries to establish this planetary, he needs to get them up there and sieged up right away, because Solar's not wasting any time. Here goes the Zerg. Do those tanks siege? Not in time, they don't. So they're not helping nearly as much as they could be. The Bio, though, is still doing a great job kiting back.
My gosh, chasing off creep with all of those 50 Banes, cloaking them, doesn't save you from getting splash damaged right in the face, boys. 14 SCVs die, a couple ghosts go down, a severe number of them are still alive. That command center is on fire, but limping back home. And 86 Lings are in production for Solar, coming up for another round of throw myself at the Terran army. and try to make some good trades.
The Terran player with a lot of units in his main base. That's due to that Nidus harassment that Solar's been so constantly doing. This command center is going to be getting repaired. However, KeeN trying to secure a base in the bottom right where he can just drop his mules for days, as he's going to really need them. But one more poor fight or something, and the Terran is going to be in a lot of trouble. His economy is not up to stuff to replace his force. All the while, the Zerg's economy really is looking tremendous. His base is under fire. Is it going to lift off? Yes, it will. The Hydra still put out so much damage, though. They won't kill off the command center, which is a big deal. But he's really hurting KeeN just by delaying his base. And now the Ghost and the Bio really getting caught a little bit. Tanks, once again, not sieged up before a fight. The Zerg just moving forward. KeeN down on supply, and he is out.
My gosh. So resources lost in that game were 63,000 for Solar and 40,000 for KeeN.
Jeez.
That kind of discrepancy usually means the Terran won. That's usually like the Zerg just lost too much. It's really hard to win that game, but he had so much and so much income. He could afford to have that kind of a discrepancy and come out on top anyway. That's insane.
Yeah, KeeN just did not succeed in securing up another base. If he had done that, even in one or two of those fights, if he was able to get his tank sieged up in time, and it just goes to show the little decisions can cost you a 23-minute game.
Crazy. Let's remember to toss the Matcherino link into the chat here for everybody who's interested in supporting the tournament.
That notice should now be visible for everyone.
There it is. Excellent.
And there's the link.
Yeah, no more codes to remember. If it's been a while since you've done a Matcherino, it's just a click a button thing. If you go to the site, log in with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different ways you can log in, including Battle.net, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Microsoft, and Line. I don't even know what Line is, but by golly, you can use it to log into Matcherino.
Yes, you can.
Which feels like an Asian thing.
I think it's supposed to be a secure chat system, but then they changed their terms of service, so they're no longer secure.
Oops.
They're like, oh.
Hate it when that happens.
They became popular because everyone's like, oh, this is a really secure messaging app. And then they're like, look how popular we are. Let's sell our data. And everyone's like, no.
Either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
It's really stupid how much that line applies. Like, it's almost a throwaway line in a Batman movie from 2008, and yet, by golly, it's true. Anyway, we're on Hardwire for our next match here.
Yes. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in today. It's been great having everyone here watching the event. We really appreciate it. And let's see if KeeN, who's been playing well, can tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, being down 2-1 is brutal in a best of 5. It's not somewhere anyone wants to be, but top right, he's got the Carbot Animation Ghost logo spinning. It's KeeN. Appropriate, really.
Very much so. And in the bottom left, he's just silently been being solid. It's Solar. We take him for granted the way he plays.
We do. We underestimate him, underappreciate him.
He's so good, it makes us critique him more.
He's so good. It's just, if you're not top 4 in the Zergs in the world right now, we're like, eh. What are you then? You know, it's not fair. It's not fair that we do that. Right? I think everybody who's outside of the top 4 is like, okay, sure. If you're not Raynor, Serral, Dark, Rogue, then what are you?
You know that pathetic meme.
Yeah.
You're only top 5th Zerg in the world. Pathetic.
Pathetic. And that is Solar. It's Ligulac is Serral, Raynor, Dark, Rogue. Actually, Solar's ahead of Rogue and a Ligulac right now. Hey.
Huh.
Solar's top 4 Zerg. He's real.
Rogue's falling off. You heard it here first.
Rogue's washed up. Good job, Solar. Winning this would help.
Yes, it would. I mean, I think dropping a map against KeeN's probably already tanked his score.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Probably. When you're that high, anything's going to hurt your score.
Yeah, I remember that Maru lost or won a tournament one time, but his rank did drop because he lost maps during it.
Brutal. I mean, that's like, so in college football, the people vote for the top 20 rankings, and like winning by 40 gets you more votes than just winning by 2, right?
Okay.
So it's like style points. It's the same thing. If you sweep somebody, it looks better than if you beat them in 7 games.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Because, like, you beat them, what does it matter? Whatever. Man, I saw the Batman on Sunday.
Oh, how was that?
So good.
Okay.
Every time there's a new Batman, I'm like, they can't possibly make it interesting. We've seen this movie 1,000 times, but every time they put a new spin on the character, and Gotham's just different enough, and the story's different enough that it's really compelling. And
I may have to give that a go then.
it's good. Have you seen Seven?
7?
With Kevin Spacey, Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt. It's a movie from like the 2000s, late 90s,
I have
something
not.
like that. Okay, I'm trying to find a movie to compare it to. It's more World's Greatest Detective Batman than like Ninja Elite Street Fighter Batman.
Okay, cool.
If that makes sense. Oh, Aki says Line is a Japanese app for news, healthcare, payment, music, some kind of AI assistant and messenger. So it is Asian. I knew it was. It's like it's compared to the Chinese version, which I think is WhatsApp. Isn't WhatsApp the Chinese version of this? Yeah. So thanks, Noid, 000, and John Solo for contributing to the match arena.
Ooh, Battlecruiser.
Hey, Battlecruiser opening. Let's go. I mean, who did this? I feel like someone did this at Katowice, and the Zerg player just died.
I think wasn't it like Maru or something?
Maru. I think Maru took a map.
Did someone with battle cruisers maybe?
Maybe it happened more than once.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a Zerg player, if you do not have enough queens, which is 5 queens per battle cruiser, you are just going to die when they show up. I think Maru did it to Dark once. And that might have been in DreamHack Last Chance rather than Katowice, but
regardless, battle cruisers are still pretty darn good, which makes me happy as I only know the one TvZ build.
Pretty strong. Nothing wrong with it.
Been going strong since 2016.
Not going to spoil the Batman. I'm done. That's it. We're done talking about it. I just recommend it at the end.
Spoiler alert, Batman beats up bad guys.
Hey, how did you know? 7 is really good, though. If you're into Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and some really atmospheric, like, serial killer mystery detective stuff, it's really, really good. All right, here comes KeeN. Hellbat transformation up. Marines pushing. Battle cruiser behind this. Jumping in.
I love this.
To assist. This is so hot.
The double whammy. All of a sudden, the Zerg's wondering, okay, how do I defend a battle cruiser and a bunch of Hellbats in my face? And they are certainly in Solar's face. The BC, the Marines clumping up.
Once these queens start dropping, it's gonna be a big time. Why are you killing an Overlord?
Battlecruiser, no, focus.
What are you doing? You need to kill queen. Oh, wow. All right, fine, I guess. Battlecruiser has to get out of there. Enough queens remain to be problematic.
That battlecruiser does not have the biggest attention span.
No, he was doing great. He took a queen down. It was starting to kind of snowball, and then he's like, ooh, Overlord. That doesn't shoot back.
Like a kid just trying to pop a balloon.
Oh, seriously.
So Solar's in a very good spot now.
Yes. Against all odds, I thought that attack was going to do way more damage. And suddenly the queens are just like, no, get out of here. 7 corruptors coming in to deal with the battle cruisers that he knows exists. Oh, lag, though.
Oh.
You seeing that?
No.
I hope it's not me. Don't be me.
Oh, no.
What the what? All right, I'm going to try to ignore it. 2 battle cruisers out. Corruptor ball looking pretty scary, though.
Yeah, what's the AA for the Terran other than the BCs? Not a lot. It's literally 3 Marines. I mean,
sprinkling in some mutas here would be pretty interesting.
KeeN's going for a 4th base, and that's why it is important he's doing things like this Hellion run-by to keep the Zerg busy, because if Solar gets a chance to go across the map and punish Terran, potentially just kill him, he will. So these BCs are moving out, they're going to try and be a pain. I like them taking this long path across the map, because it's going to potentially delay Solar's attack. These Hellions finding these Lings is nice. KeeN really has to be active here while he does his mech power-up. Oh, the BC is going to run into these Corruptors, so... Teleport out.
Yeah, that's a run. That is an instantly run situation. That many Corruptors show up? Nope.
Hi, says...
Do not stick around.
And this is where things are going to get rough here for the Terran. The Zerg says, oh, I don't have to worry about defending our battle cruisers anymore. Here I go.
Yeah, the anti-air you keep mentioning. Just nothing.
It's literally nothing, other than the BCs.
The Corruptors just going to wander in and kill medevacs. No big deal.
Okay, not literally nothing, it's 3 Marines.
That is nothing. It rounds down to nothing. That's a rounding error.
And,
okay, maybe don't take free missile turret hits, though, Corruptors. Jeez.
There is Cyclones on the way. They don't, however, have their Cyclone upgrade, so they're going to take approximately 3 years per Corruptor.
Yeah. And they're... Okay.
So
the battle cruisers are going to die. Good job, BCs, I guess. So there's enough ground army to handle these roaches and ravagers, though. Especially with siege tank support.
No!
Oh! Maybe don't take direct bile hits, though.
Oh, now the Corruptors have literally nothing to oppose them.
Oh no, main base getting caustic sprayed down. This is disastrous. You can't out-repair caustic spray. Boom. Like, this is the one thing Mass SCV just cannot keep up with is caustic spray damage once it hits that second level.
Did he really need his command center in his main base, though?
Can he still win this without it? I'm going to go with technically yes, probably no.
Yeah, once you lose one command center as a Terran, you're just like...
Well, at this stage of the game, but if you're like
silly.
30 minutes in, losing a BC or command center doesn't matter.
I mean, the Cyclones are getting some good lock-ons, even though they don't have their upgrade. This Planetary going to be under fire. The repair goes down. These Cyclones are actually doing a surprising amount of work, despite not having...
Can out-repair caustic spray. Dun, 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 dun. Can't
trying his darndest, though.
Spray. Dum, 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 dum. Look at that. He's really trying.
Oh!
Oh, he did it! He did the thing! It took almost a full 360 surround.
Those SCVs were just given all their love possible in the world. They were singing Kumbaya to keep that Planetary alive.
One more Corruptor there. I think that's a dead Planetary. That was awesome.
Oh my god, it lives. I mean, the Planetary lives, but I don't take that as a metaphor for KeeN in this game, because he is gonna die.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, when you, as a Zerg player, is just kind of mashing their face into you like this, not feeling good about yourself. Lings getting in on top of those Cyclones. That's not what they want to see. Corrosive Biles getting connections again. And also that Planetary is under assault. Are the Corruptors back up there?
Oh my god, they got it!
Ah!
Okay,
even with the
good
missile
try,
turret